I've prepared 3 completely different bases, and I'll show you each of them in one video. One of them will be the cheapest and another one the most expensive, but each of them you can easily build already on the first day of the wipe. And the low upkeep of all these bases is not their only feature. Each base today has its own unique tricks that I myself use when I play, and you already know how much I play Rust. Getting an advantage over other players with my build, that's exactly what I love to do every wipe. And that means today I'll also show you a new cheater peek in my style. One that again lets you shoot through textures. These bases aren't about super defense. 2 or even 3 walls to the main TC is currently the most optimal choice. That's exactly why all these bases can really be fully built in 1 to 2 hours of comfortable gameplay, without having to waste tons of time farming resources for building. First I'll show the base itself, then I'll show how to build it. And I'll do the same with all the bases I've prepared for you today. And if you like this format with 3 different bases in one video, then definitely leave a like and write a comment. If you enjoy the video, then next time I'll gather a few more bases into one video. But next time these will be bases for offline defense. And now let's move on to the smallest base from today's video. This is the smallest base in today's video, and you will be surprised how many interesting OP features it hides inside itself, and you will start seeing them right from the start of the base tour. This is a base for a small number of players in a team, and so that you can be easily deeped, you have here such an airlock made of 2 single doors. And if someone decides to camp you in a blind zone, then with the help of this trick you can immediately punish your offenders. But these are not all the features that this base has. There will also be such an interesting hidden trap module. Below you have 2 shotgun traps standing right on electrical branches, and a bit higher above them there will be an automatic turret. And the pipes installed this way are the perfect solution for hiding all this from outsiders. While the pipes are there, it's impossible to see what is behind them. If we go further, here you will see a bed for quick respawn, as well as a second workbench, a furnace and a loot room for 6 large boxes. If you open the double door on the descent, you will immediately see here a medium battery for the turrets. And below is your main loot space. A total of 6 large boxes will fit here. This is if you don't have DLC barrels, of course. I think this is enough for the start of the wipe. Maintenance of the main tool cupboard is right in front of you. The base is built as simply as possible, and building it on some transit spot I think will be just right. If we go up higher to the 3rd floor, here there will be another turret. And also besides that, on the sides behind the garage doors there will be 1 more loot room each with 2 large boxes. And above the turret you will have a peak to the floor above. And do you know what the main feature of this peak is? From here you can absolutely safely shoot those who will be jumping down on you from above. At the same time your enemies will not be able to see you at all. It turns out I got a full one-way peak. Well, now let's go up to the 4th floor. Here there is exactly the same peak to the floor above. And also besides that, from here you can exit immediately to 2 sides of your shooting floor. And building this base near some rat town I think will be the smartest decision for you. And if you get a lot of haters, then with the help of these door peaks I think you'll be able to deal with them. And if it happens that someone is door camping right at your door, then from this spot you can also watch your entry doors. And if someone is standing there, you will definitely be able to kill them. However, so far I haven't shown you what exactly you're going to love about this base. But don't worry, I'll get to that soon. On the 5th floor will be your smelter for 6 furnaces. That's for the case if you want to smelt metal, snowball and move somewhere else. And this shooting position in the center is exactly what you're going to love about this base with all your heart. While you're in this spot and controlling everything 360 degrees, you're in complete safety. And now I'm going to prove it to you. This is what people running near your base will see looking at your house. Even with a bolt in their hands, they won't be able to see anything here. My helper only becomes visible when I turn on admin render through console. I think it's clear that on a normal server, normal players can't turn on such a console setting. And now let me show you how you'll look when you're shooting from this cheater peak without a suppressor. From the outside it looks like you're shooting through a wall. Admit it, isn't that OP? I think after my video they'll patch it soon, so you can use it while you still have time. Also, using another bug, I placed vending machines on the edge of the roofs here. But honestly, I wouldn't recommend selling anything in them. I recommend using them just to transfer loot from outposts. And now I'll super quickly show you how to build this. And on my Patreon today, I've already posted the 39th private base. And to celebrate this, I'm making up to 50% discounts on all types of subscriptions on my Patreon. By supporting me on Patreon, you'll get not only 39 unique private bases, but also this kind of PvP monster. And this is really something new in base designs. Mini open core, unusual shell, one-way peaks, stashes inside buffer walls, and so much more. But I can't show you all of it here. And for only $7.50, you'll get access to this base as well as to all the other content I publish there. That's already at least 39 private bases for every taste. The link to my Patreon with the 50% discount will be in the description. Subscribe now, you won't regret it. The main footprint of this base is extremely small. Because of that, you can try building it absolutely anywhere. You could even put it on a mountainside if you wanted to. As you can see, the footprint is really compact. The central part will be HQM, everything else will be metal. This is the spot where your main TC will go. To optimize space, you can even put a small furnace next to the TC. To the right of this spot, you'll have a loot room for 2 large boxes. In the last free triangle, I recommend temporarily placing a workbench. If those boxes aren't enough, you can fit 2 more in the center. And of course, sleeping bags will also fit here easily. This will be your starter base. Now let's look at it from the player's perspective. As you can see, it turned out pretty spacious and easy for everyone to use. But the fact that all this loot is behind just one double door is something I don't like. So make sure you add extra doors inside. And as early as possible, try to make yourself an exit to the second floor. You can climb up either by using the furnace or the workbench. If you have neither of those yet, then either use jungle DLC shelves or make your teammate go AFK so you can jump on him to get up to the next floor. But I think it'll be easier to just send him to farm low-grade fuel. And meanwhile, I want to give a special thanks to everyone who watches, likes and comments on my videos. In the first 24 hours after release, I try to answer every single comment. So if you've been wanting to write me something and be sure I read it, now's the time. Also, thanks to everyone who supports me on Patreon. Because of you, my videos come out without sponsor ads or YouTube mid-roll ads. By the way, how do you rate the quality of my videos that I make for you? Do you have any thoughts on that? Write a comment. I'd be really interested to know. Here you'll have the entrance into the base through an airlock. Opposite this spot, as you remember, I had a trap module. I'm going to build it right away too. First you place the black electrical branch, then you install shotgun traps directly on top of them. Then here you place a low wall and a bit higher you put a ceiling. On the ceiling you install a turret and some ambient lighting. On the opposite side you make a loot room for 6 large boxes. You can use those boxes for random junk. On the second floor I probably wouldn't store any valuable resources. Now we need to make the climb up to the third floor. I think at this stage you'll already have a furnace, so you can use it as your jump up. The most important thing here is not to place any extra ceilings, because this is exactly where later on you'll have your jump up to the next floor. And when your exit to the third floor is already built, the base should look exactly like this from the outside. On this floor you'll also have 4 large boxes. And this is the floor where I would keep some valuable stuff. Because this is the third floor, and the third floor doesn't always get raided. And to be honest, I never leave valuable resources in the base overnight. Because no matter what kind of base you build, if somebody really wants to raid you, they'll raid you. So if you feel like you've angered someone with your gameplay, then simply run off into the forest and build yourself some temporary base there. It'll be several times safer. Here, don't forget that you'll have a future peak to the floor above, and when you completely finish this floor, you can move on. For this, you remove this door and place it on the floor above. Don't forget that from here, you'll also have a jump up higher. So don't accidentally block the future jump up with an unnecessary ceiling. Now, I'm just obliged to show you how to make a one-way peak in this spot. First, you place a single door and only then you place a drop box. The drop box is placed slightly below the very top possible placement point. If you do everything like I show, then it'll definitely work. Now from here you need to make the future exits to the shooting floor, but we don't have the actual shooting floor yet and it needs to be built. That's exactly what we're going to do now. To the ceiling of the second floor we place the future support for the shooting floor. On the other side we do the same thing, and in the center as well. Then we place ceilings like this, and on these ceilings we place window frames. Now we go to the opposite side, and since the base is completely symmetrical, we do the same thing there. Now I need to show you how to place 2 frames in this spot. As you can see, I don't have any issues with this. However, if you can't manage to do it, then in that case you need to artificially increase your ping on the server. You can do this either with exit lag or similar programs, or you can simply run an internet speed test in your browser. If it still doesn't work, then run several speed tests in parallel. But if absolutely nothing works, then don't stress. Just place 1 door frame so that the door opens towards the gap. You won't lose much from that. In this spot, be sure to place half walls. It's important for stability. And of course, definitely place a door here so grenades, rockets and so on can't be thrown inside. However, we still haven't finished building it yet. We once again remove this double door and climb up to the 5th floor. Here make sure you pay close attention to what and how I'm placing things. The cheater peak in this base is built right on the edge of stability, so everything must be exactly like mine. Otherwise, you simply won't have enough stability. Remember when I gave you the base tour and told you that this floor is your smelting room? If you don't need it as a smelting room, then at least these half walls in these spots must be there. And then you'll need to place a double door frame on top of those half walls. This double door frame is exactly what will hold your future cheater peak. The jump up to the roof will only be from one side, and here you can only have a garage door. Next, look, where you don't have a drop down, you place 2 low walls, and slightly above you place a triangle hatch frame. On the opposite side, you also place 2 low walls, but here you need to place a ceiling. Once everything is upgraded, you'll need to place a low ramp in the center. Just be sure to place it correctly so you don't ruin your roof exit. If you did everything like in the video, you'll have enough stability to place square roofs in these spots. Upgrade them to normal stone or normal metal. And for the cheater peak to work, in this place you need to place 2 triangular roofs. You need to do this on both sides of the base. These triangular roofs can be upgraded to any material. You can even leave them in twig, but they can be broken. And if you want to respawn right on the roof, you can even place beds here at an angle. And the final touch left is to place triangular roofs in these spots. Mostly it's for aesthetics, and they should be upgraded alternating. 1 wood, 1 stone, 1 wood, 1 stone. And the last thing left is to show how to place a vending machine here. But to place it, you'll also have to follow a few important rules. First, you'll need to build a small twig extension. Then you place a black electrical branch, and on it you place the vending machine. And that's it. The next base is already a bit bigger than the previous one. However, it contains even more different interesting tricks that I want to show you. And don't even think I'm trying to present this shotgun trap as some kind of feature. I just liked how I died to it there. Want to see it up close? Here it is, the culprit. The climb is done via a furnace and you immediately land on the 2nd floor. This base is already more suited for online defense with a minimal amount of resources. That's exactly why there are 2 entrances and exits from different sides of this base. I also additionally installed these shotgun traps here. And pay attention, they are installed on the electrical branch, and I'm sure they will really shake the nerves of your raiders when they come to raid you. Behind the double door is your auxiliary combat spawn. Here you will have 2 beds and also 4 small boxes. I recommend storing everything for online defense in them. From here you can also control the entrance doors of the base, and if you switch into the body of the killed hazmat, this is exactly how it will look. You could even say this is another one-way peek that I prepared for you. And of course you'll have one like this on both sides of the combat spawn. That means from here you can freely control the entrance doors to the base. And in the center of this floor is a large loot room for 8 large boxes. You could even say this is your mini open core. Here, by the way, is also the drop down, and downstairs you get quite a lot of space. This is a very convenient base for 2 or even 3 players in a team. And even this side loot room is protected by at least 2 walls from the outside. Here on the 1st floor is also the main TC and another loot room for 4 large boxes. The upkeep for the main TC is right in front of you. And note again that the upkeep is very small. Now that I've shown you the 1st and 2nd floors, let's go up to the 3rd floor. And the 3rd floor is your full-fledged shooting floor. Here is also the big battery for the turrets, as well as the auto turret itself that will watch over everything here. And behind this door is your main combat spawn with 2 beds. So, got it? You have 1 combat spawn downstairs and another one here on the 3rd floor. From here you can check what's happening on your roof, and also in the center you'll have the brutalist peak. And if you've already gotten upset that you don't have the stone skin for it, let me cheer you up. In this base, the brutalist skin is also not required. For clarity, if you try to do this in some other base, you'll simply ruin your shooting position completely. And today I'll show you how to avoid that. Also, to the right and left through the window frames you can open these garage doors. And if you do that, you'll not only get an additional long-range peek, but your hidden turrets will also activate. That means if you hear someone running under your base, just open these garages. In that case, your turrets will do all the dirty work for you. And if some very angry naked decides to blow up your turrets, there's no reason to worry here either, because you can immediately close these garage doors from here. And then, without much effort, you can repair your turret right from here. As you can see, you don't even need to remove the embrasure for this. And what? You think that's all? Here, with the help of this square roof, you can also make yourself a hidden stash. However, for that, you will need absolutely any paid skin for stone or metal. If you don't have any paid building skin, then listen carefully, because I know a way to top up your Steam balance with a benefit of up to 30%. And if you thought this was an ad, it's not. I won't name any services, just buy CSGO skins on some website on the internet and then simply sell them in Steam itself. That way you can buy Rust DLC at a 20% or even 30% discount. I've been using this for a long time. I hope it was useful to hear. Here I specifically placed these high ramps so you can check those who will be camping you on the roof. Also, if the double doors are open, you'll have this kind of airlock. I tried to make the roof itself as simple as possible, but it didn't work out. Here you can shoot under your base, and the ramp placed here in the middle will let you comfortably shoot from a sitting position. And naturally, if someone camps you, you can easily deal with them from here. And since the base is completely symmetrical, logically this feature is on both sides. And honestly, everything is actually very simple to build. For its cost, this base turned out really good. And I think you yourself have seen how many different tricks there are here, and finally now it's time to quickly show how to build it. I'll show you everything right now. As always, at the very start, I'll immediately show you the full foundation plan. That way you'll instantly understand how much space you'll need. But I wouldn't say this base is much bigger than the previous one. The central part and the future climb to the second floor will be HQM. Everything else can be metal. You'll start in this base from a single square. Here you'll fit the main tool cupboard, the first workbench, 2 furnaces and 2 sleeping bags. Instead of 2 furnaces, you can basically place 1 large box. To the right of this spot, you'll have another loot room for 4 large boxes. And it will be behind a window frame. Opposite the double door, you place a wall, and here you'll have a few more extra furnaces. This will be your starter base. And now let's look at all of this through the eyes of a player. Honestly, the start of this base turned out quite spacious for me. A lot of space, 4 large boxes and 6 furnaces. But there are still few doors, so that's exactly what I recommend you to work on now. The climb up will be through a jump up. Preferably, if possible, upgrade this whole path to HQM. But as you already understood, I'm upgrading immediately into the final version. You at the beginning can build everything out of stone. Pay attention that in this place you should also have shotgun traps. However, if at this stage you don't have traps yet, then don't place this low wall. It should be placed only after the traps are installed. If for some reason you forgot about it, these traps can be placed through the window frame too. But keep in mind that doing this will already be quite tricky, but possible. On this floor in the future will be your mini open core. Therefore, upgrade everything here to metal if possible, and be sure to place more doors. Next, look, in this place we add a triangular buffer zone. Now we go to the left and add another one. Here we make a square buffer. Be sure to have a ceiling in the middle of the wall. Exactly here will be your 8 large boxes on this floor. I think you won't have any problems with placing the boxes. Next, we move to the opposite side. Here we also need to add extra walls to protect the climb from the first floor to the second. As a result, you should make it so that to the first floor you have at least 2 walls everywhere. Next, look, in this place you'll have the climb to the second floor, and you can do it either as I showed in the base tour, through a furnace, or you can choose a more convenient option with a ladder hatch. Honestly, I choose the ladder hatch, but you need the blueprint for it, and not everyone has it, but you get the point. In this spot, we simply close off the buffer. Here in the future, you will have a locker and another furnace. Opposite the spot will be your future climb to the third floor. Besides the climb, here there will also be 2 shotgun traps. That is, 2 traps sit below, and above will be a loot room in the combat room. Don't forget that the traps are placed on the black electrical branch. When the traps are set, be sure to close them off with a low half wall. Once you finish with this, you can immediately move to this place and place the furnace, locker and window frame. Now we go up a floor, and here right away we make the exit to the third floor. I would recommend doing it immediately. This way you can go out onto the roof whenever you need to. For now you have no temporary shooting floor yet. Then we move to the opposite side and do the same thing here. That is, you have a climb through the furnace, then in this spot you add a buffer zone. On this buffer you have a locker and a furnace. Then you simply close everything with walls, just like you did on the opposite side. Also look, here you need to add an extra buffer walls. And exactly the same buffer walls you need to add on the opposite side. Once you do this, to your loot room and combat room, there will also be at least 2 walls. Right opposite the exit to the third floor, you'll have a large battery, and it will be behind a single door. If you have a lot of experience, you can close this door frame with a vending machine. Opposite the exit to the third floor, you'll have a combat room with 2 beds. Be sure to put at least 2 small boxes there to store everything for online defense. Now in this place we place half walls, then here we put a ceiling and a window frame. And under Under it, we place a small box in the middle. We close this box with a low half wall, but you only do this if you have any paid skin for stone or for metal. If you don't have it, then you don't need such a stash. And to practice building this base or any other base from my channel, you can always do it on my Rust Room build servers. They are free and available for everyone. Now September has come and queues have become much smaller. Well, if you want to get a queue skip, access to custom biomes, rocket launcher, MLRS launch and so on, then go to my Patreon and subscribe as a VIP subscriber. VIP status on the server is given automatically. Next, look, in this place you must strictly follow exactly my sequence, because otherwise nothing will work for you. Also pay attention to the material I'm upgrading everything into here. Now we go to the opposite side, and here we do exactly the same thing. If at this stage you don't have garage doors or turrets, you can place those elements later when you get them. Now on the roof we need to make the future drop-down peaks. But first we need to raise these frames for stability, and also in the center. Notice that I'm also raising the frames, including in the center. Here you should place a square ceiling. And if, like mine, it won't place and shows red, then in that case go down and be sure to upgrade all stone frames to metal. If you still get some kind of error, then in that case the outer walls of your house should be either ordinary stone or ordinary metal. For some reason, this shooting floor can't be built if you use paid skins. But if you still want to use DLC skins, you can repaint the outer walls after the shooting floor is ready. And basically that's it. This base is finished, you can move on. Now we've reached the most expensive base of today. And it's expensive because of the mini tentacles I built for it. Just imagine how all of this can be defended online. You'll also have a turret module standing here. Here you can either just place a chain link, or you can make a trap with garage doors controlled through the Rust Plus mobile app. And these turrets will definitely have to be blown up when they come to raid you, because their coverage area is simply perfect. In each of these tentacles you'll have a combat spawn with 2 beds. And here in the small boxes you can store everything for online defense. Syringes, grenades, stones, torches, skulls and so on. Also, if your double doors are open, then here you'll have a full airlock, and you can even use it as a shooting position. Also in this spot you'll have outward peaks in different directions, and if you start fighting someone here, you'll be very hard to kill. But I think you already know that. If we go further and open this garage door, then this turret will immediately be looking at you. If for some reason you don't have turrets yet, then in that case here you'll also have shotgun traps installed on a low wall from both sides. And in the center is the descent to the first floor, and just look at what kind of mini open core you're getting here. On this floor you'll have a total of 8 large boxes conveniently accessible, and all of this will be watched over by 3 automatic turrets at once. The beginning of this base is almost the same as in my recent base joint box. Servicing of the main TC is right in front of you. In general, this base, like the previous one, is very mobile. If you're raided from one side, for example, you can move everything to the opposite one and so on. And it all looks beautiful, agree? From the center here, you can go up to the 3rd floor. Here there's also an automatic turret and a simple shooting setup in 2 directions. And the special thing about this shooting floor is that it's built in minutes. So for a minimal amount of resources and time, you get a full 360-degree shooting floor. That's exactly why this base is included in this video. Also, under the roofs on each side, I installed 1 locker and 1 large box. You can use them in different ways. If you place the box correctly so that it sticks out just a little through the texture, then you can hide some resources there. Otherwise, you can just use it as a box where everything for online defense is stored. On the roof, I also installed 2 automatic turrets and 2 wind turbines. And you'll also have side drop downs here. From here, you can not only shoot down if needed, but also if you've killed someone, you can quickly go down from here. However, if you go down from here, you'll lose about 20 HP. For a quick descent, there's another place. We'll get to it soon. From these roofs, you can shoot both at long range and under your house. And if you open this single door, you can control the entrances to your mini tentacles. And also, if needed, you can go down from here without taking damage. And now I'll show you how to build this base. This base is built extremely simply. First, you just lay out a 2x1 with triangles. Your central part will be HQM, everything else metal. Your starter base will be a single square. Here you'll fit the main TC, a workbench, 2 sleeping bags and a large box. For now, everything is just like in the previous base. The changes start only now. Here you also close everything with walls, and your way up will be via a staircase. Under it, you'll have another couple of boxes and a medium battery. And above it, you'll have a research table, another loot room, and an exit through a double door. And basically that's it. In such a small base, you can already start progressing with ease. As soon as you get extra resources, you should immediately add 1 extra wall on each side. And you'll go up to your home using a twig roof. You can place it from 2 two sides as well for convenience. If by that moment you've already smelted metal, then here in the center you need to place 3 double doors. And as soon as you do that, I immediately recommend you start on our mini tentacles. They're built very easily. The main thing is to do everything exactly as I do in the video. Also look, see, I have a shelf behind the window frame in the middle of the wall. On it you can place either a medium battery for base lighting, or you can just put barrels or small boxes there. They can be used as a quick drop-off for resources, so you don't have to run upstairs. The triangle roof in this spot can also be upgraded, so people don't break it from outside. Then look, above the entrance here you place 2 full walls on the sides and then place a square roof towards yourself. Later a turret will stand there, and on these shelves I'm placing now, you'll have a loot room with 2 large boxes. Also don't forget, as soon as you have shotgun traps, you need to place them here. You can deauthorize your teammate from the TC and test how they work. Just make sure there's a sleeping bag, otherwise you won't be able to get back home. And basically we've just finished one side, now we go to the opposite side, and here we need to do exactly the same thing. As soon as you do that, you'll already have a full shooting position under your base. That means if you live in some busy spot, this shooting will bring you quite a lot of resources. On the second floor we also do exactly the same thing because the base is symmetrical. Place turrets when you can, but the first turrets you should install are exactly under these roofs. You've got 8 large boxes on the second floor, so they need to be protected. Now in the center of the second floor, we need to make the future way up to the third floor. Under it, you need to install another turret, which will be on this floor. The exit from here to the third floor, you make through a single door. On the shelf behind it, you can place a medium battery if you need it. On the opposite side, you won't have an ascent, so there we just put additional walls. The fourth turret that you'll get is placed here. Now we make side shooting positions. For this, put half walls and on them window frames. If at this stage you haven't yet researched this locker, then in that case upgrade these triangle roofs to wood. As soon as you research everything you need, just upgrade one triangle roof to stone and install everything you need. Remember that if anything, you can always practice on my building servers. Then in the center cover everything with square ceilings, and on each side make a peak to the roof and an exit through a double door. Now our side shooting position needs to be protected. This is done in a not complicated way. It's done so that you can't be shot from the roofs of other bases. Now already on the roof, we need to make future peaks down. Basically nothing complicated, however you must follow the correct sequence. For example, first above the roofs I placed a metal triangle ceiling. It must be placed in advance, otherwise later you simply won't be able to place it, and it plays a very important role. Because here stands not only the wind generator but also a turret, and as soon as one side is done, on the other side we do absolutely the same thing. Basically the base is extremely easy and we've almost finished it. Now in this place we need to put half walls and in the center a door frame. This frame is needed so that later in the future you can quickly go down from here. Everything there is planned and you won't take fall damage. And of course I showed you one side, and on the other side we do absolutely the same. Now we move on to my mini tentacles. In these tentacles you will respawn, and also you should have boxes here with everything for online defense. Be sure to put resources here for repairing your base during a raid. A couple thousand metal frags, wood, stone, I think that's enough. Fast rockets and grenades won't hurt here either, and in general you yourself will come here and see what you need. You will respawn on these beds more often than in the base. Well, at least for me it's always like that when I have such cool combat rooms. And you'll even have 2 of them. That's super good. If you play solo, then instead of the second bed, just place a large box. And place the double door so that it opens toward the single door. Now that we've finished one side with you, we go to the other side and do the same thing here. If you have a lot of resources, then you can even build tentacles here, like I had in my previous YouTube base, Tokyo. But they're really expensive. You should only do this if you really have overloot. And for now, I want to give a special thanks to these 3 awesome guys. They support me so much on Patreon that I can even order myself some pizza. I also want to say thank you to everyone else who supports me with paid subscriptions. And to everyone else who watches, likes and comments on my videos. Remember that the link to Patreon with up to 50% off is in the description. And remember that it's thanks to you that I can keep doing what I do. Write your brilliant ideas for my future videos in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and I'm off to come up with a new base.